What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. I'm your host, Steve V. This is episode 380 alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing well, thank you. How you doing this evening?
Excellent.
I love it.
Really, girl, this is an exciting show. I am in the Bay Area, California, Oakland, California, right now, visiting a show on the road here on this. So many topics to talk about on this
I know, right?
episode. Ricky Martin's alleged restraining order, Bad Bunny flashed a heart on, and a drag queen was caught sniffing poppers on live TV. What? That's a lot.
What?
Yeah,
We get crazy today.
we have a lot to talk about. All those topics are on this show. And by the way, this week I am here in the Bay Area, California until July 12th. And I'm going to see if you listen to one of our episodes, Baloney, the documentary, Baloney, the movie about a male get queer burlesque company, and I'm going to go see it at the Oasis this Friday. I'm a little nervous because they might pull me up on stage, and you never know what they're going to do on this. It's all male burlesque. It's super hot, sexy, but I'm excited. I'm going Friday night. Got my tickets.
Nice. Are you going to burlesque for us? We need all video.
I'm not in rehearsals, so no, I am not.
Come on.
I will have a cocktail in hand.
Freestyle it.
And let them do the work. But if you're in San Francisco, see this show. It's here for a couple weeks. Baloney at the Oasis Theater in San Francisco. You don't want to miss it. As well as you can see the movie, Baloney the movie.
But you got to say it like Bianca Del Rio. Baloney.
Baloney. I could see that. Yes, exactly. Well, we have got to get into so many topics, including, did you guys hear about Q Nightlife, Q Club in San Francisco, the drama that has unfolded? Just to give you guys an update on what we are talking about, the nightlife venue is called Q in New York City. It had a bunch of celebrity backers, including Billy Porter, including Charlie Carver. You guys might know him. He's a twin, including a few other celebrities.
Zachary Quinto.
Zach, who I love. They were just supporters of it. Well, allegations were released in the piece in this publication on July 2nd, and I'm talking about Instinct magazine, regarding New York nightlife titan, the Q, between owners Alan Pickus, Frankie Sharp, and Bob Fluitt, reverberated throughout New York City nightlife and beyond the moment they were released. Well, Bob Fluitt did release a detailed statement on allegations of racism, underage patrons, and transphobia, among other egregious behavior. In a previous article, the voice of nightlife impresario Frankie Sharp remained silent until now. And I'll just read you what he wrote. In light of recent events with respect to my ownership of the Q and my erstwhile partners, it has occurred to me that I must take some kind of initial public statement. I believe that the claims speak for itself, and everything I have claimed is factual and supported by evidence. I was, in a word, gaslit. He uses the word gaslit. The deterioration of the corporate culture at the Q did not happen overnight, he writes. These things never do, and I must presume that the partners in the beginning had to keep me compliant at least long enough to acquire ownership of my intellectual properties, my credibility, access to my celebrity investors, and entry into my social networks.
Wow.
He goes on to say, I was frightened, diminished, silenced, and intimidated, but ultimately just deeply disgusted by circumstances around my club. And then I was then chiefly worried about protecting myself. He goes on to say, essentially, at one point, one of the owners told him that if you're going to do a Latin night, make sure it's the good Latins. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially said the good Latins, not the Blatinos.
My skin is boiling a little bit. I'm sorry.
I bet it is. Mine is too when I heard that, just because.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll read a couple other things, but celebrities came out. They've already canceled a bunch of drag queen shows. People like Boomer Banks, Richard Cortez, Greg Scarnici, and LA Drag Dynamo Rhea Litra, all showing their unyielding support for Sharp, the guy that I just read his post for. What are your thoughts about this, and why are we hearing about racism within our community in 2022? I mean, obviously things exist like this, but
yeah,
it's crazy to me.
It's crazy. And the Q is such a beautiful spot. Like the
space
layout of it is amazing. And I've only been there twice, but I've never really experienced any type of discrimination while I was there. But this really, honestly, it doesn't surprise me. The allegations that were raised against Alan Picus, I think it's more directed towards Alan than Bob, because Bob does come out and say he kind of distanced himself from Alan a little bit, and because he owns Boxers and Hush Bar as well. So in order to keep those two bars a little bit safe, I think he kind of distanced himself in a statement on Instagram.
Right.
So I don't know Alan personally, but it highlights a colorism issue that is prevalent in the gay community and in the Latin community and even in the Black community. So I'm not surprised that this happened, but I am very by the outpouring of love that Frankie Sharp is receiving from all the celebrities that you mentioned. Keisha Carr came out in support of him. Just read Patrick Crowe came out in support of him. And there have been so many posts that have outlined and kind of backed up what Frankie has said. So, it's just really...
It's crazy because I don't know if you remember years ago, before Rebar in New York City became Rebar, it was G Lounge, for those of you that travel to New York City, and G Lounge found itself in a pickle for a period of time because certain nights had a sort of a cool hip hop urban. I love those nights. I would go on many of those nights.
They were so fun.
They got themselves into a lot of, actually, no, it was Rebar, the bar that's there now, it was the one that's currently now, and they had one of their owners, their current owners, I know them because we've done our tags live at Rebar, so I'm friends with some of the owners, but they got themselves in some trouble early on when they said no hats, baseball hats can be worn, and that was actually part of their mantra of what they were looking for on piecing people out of the line. And they managed to apologize. Time went on and they were able to get themselves out of that. It's thriving now and it has a very diverse crowd of people in there, but it really pissed off a lot of people.
It did.
They did survive
for a while.
Yeah, they survived this. Do you think that the Q can survive like Rebar did at this point?
So I don't think that they can survive with Alan Picus there. I think that they need to, like Bob
he needs to go.
did. Yeah, they need to distance themselves from him, and because that's just not allowed nowadays. And he has said what Rebar did is they kind of established a dress code that was kind of discriminatory.
You're using air quotes for those listening to this. We have a listening audience too that listens to this show.
Air quotes, kind of discriminatory, and it's blatantly discriminatory because actually they just wanted to weed out all of the people of color and Black and people from urban areas. So yes, so I think that what they did could be forgiven more, or they could take steps to actually remedy that or make up for that. What Alan Picus said is there's no coming back from that as far as I'm concerned. I will never support anything that he is behind ever again.
Well, you bring up a great point that happens in Hollywood all the time and cancel culture, but this is relevant cancel culture that get rid of Picus. If this is true, based on what we're reading and the allegations that are out there,
again,
and
it's all alleged,
and all of the support that we are seeing for one of the owners, although I don't know if he's out, if he's stepped away from this because he's involved in a lawsuit. But
I think he has stepped away.
If, to your point, because they are losing shows, drag shows, people are pulling their parties and booking them in other establishments. So if they can get rid of the one bad apple in the mix, because they put all of this time, money, it is a great venue. When you do come, we hope that you get to see it, listeners, because it really is a great venue.
Yeah.
And it does have some good backers like Billy Porter, like Zachary Quinto, like Charlie Carver in the mix that put their seal of approval on it initially, but they didn't sign up for this. I guarantee you that.
Definitely not. Billy Porter would never.
Oh, never, honey. We are live, guys, and people are watching us. Khalidad says, what does he say? Because there was a comment in there earlier that in our live feed.
He says he loves his Latinos. I double love my Latinos. And gagging, thank goodness for the solidarity. And I couldn't agree more because, you can't, Latinos, we're a part of the Latino culture and you can't exclude us. So.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful culture out of Latino. I learned so much about it when I moved to New York City, learning so much about the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans and all that. I'm Mexican and from the West Coast, but I live in New York now, and I love the culture. We were talking offline about an amazing festival that happens every year in Cathedral City, otherwise known close to Palm Springs as Oasis.
Oh, yes.
And they have a yearly event, and it's all Latino festival that happens in beautiful Cathedral City every year. I want to go to it. I know you want to go to it too.
I want to go so bad. They should change the name to Kodi Oasis, not Latino Oasis.
Okay. We should have you be maybe a representative from TAGSPodcast.
Oh, yes.
For next year.
For it. Yes, the Grand Marshal Kodi, Latino Oasis. I love
2023. Let's we're gonna reach out to them and
let's do it.
Yeah, I think that would be fun, and we can maybe do a live show there on the premises. A reworked version, of course, by the poolside. Well, everyone would be a lot of fun in our speedos, of course. What was the shout out to that designer? I don't know if you have it up on your screen. No, Raul, is that the designer?
That is the designer.
Yeah, for Latino swimwear. And there are people that are recognizing it. And I can't believe it's embarrassing that you and I reside in New York. And we have to even report on this story of non-inclusivity that I can't believe it. But it's existing. We will continue to report on that as it comes out. Well, we have to keep reporting on monkeypox. And this time, San Francisco event organizers warned about monkeypox. City numbers more than double. Organizers of two large pre-Pride dance parties, because all the Pride parties are over now. 4th of July is over, so now we're like COVID, kind of seeing the repercussions of things like monkeypox. Well, these dance parties have alerted attendees that people known or suspected to have monkeypox were present at some of these events. And on July 5th, the San Francisco Department of Public Health updated its count of known or probable monkeypox cases to 40, more than doubling since last week. Other parties, Comfort and Joy, the queer community and arts collective that hosted Afterglow on Saturday, June 25th, sent an email blast stating that it had received a plausible report that an attendee tested positive for monkeypox, and organizers of the Locks Pride Party on June 24th did the same on their Facebook page. Also, one of my favorite spaces here in the Bay Area, it's a sex club. Also had the Steamworks Bathhouse in Berkeley, which just reopened not that long ago. sent out an alert to patrons July 5th in its statement that the Berkeley Health Department informed it that over the past month, some of its members have either been confirmed or probable cases of monkeypox have been determined.
Oh, wow.
Dates: the person or persons visited between May 27th and 29th, June 3rd through the 4th, June 10th, and June 17th. This is real. It's one of the reasons that I was telling you, Kodi, that I didn't go to partake in any of the after hours parties in New York Pride or any of the parties that were happening. I didn't even hook up with people at the Eagle like I like to do, because I knew what's going on. And I knew I was coming here to the Bay Area, California. I knew I was going to see my mom. And I thought, you know what? No, I did have fun. I had someone visit me. I did meet one person that knew me from the Bay Area here.
Okay.
On the final night of Gay Pride, I went to his hotel room. We took a shower together. I inspected his body.
Oh my!
But
you better do the inspection.
It was a week out, and he is in a relationship, and this was his only. We had a conversation, like you said, you want your friend when he stays with you to have a conversation with those he sleeps with these days. I had a conversation, and he had not slept with anybody but his boyfriend. He was on a business trip, and we got down and dirty.
Hey, that's what's up. Do that inspection first. Make sure that you get it in. And I'm just glad that they are being so forthcoming and really trying to get ahead of this. Everybody just needs to be informed and as safe as possible. And also props to Jared Stanley for highlighting that this is just not something that gay men have to worry about. Anyone can get monkeypox, and everybody should be wary and as safe as possible.
Yeah, and you were saying on a previous episode, Kodi, that sometimes you can't tell a week out or it shows up a little bit later. I think we need to be diligent about back to being diligent. We were with COVID. Our community is known for being troopers with HIV, with COVID. Now we have monkeypox, meningitis. We talk about. I just think it's the sign of the times, and no one's saying don't have fun. Look at what's in your schedule and your proximity of who you're going to be seeing anytime soon, like I did. And by all means, if you see something on your body, see your doctor. They won't judge you, but you need to get that taken care of. What are the people saying, Kodi? So before we move on.
Callie Dad is just saying, Jesus wept, no more monkeypox. There's a lot of comments in the chat about you and the business trip. And your visitor. Do you want me to read a couple?
Yes, of course. Please do.
Half of them are for me.
You know what? I hit the jackpot on this guy. So something didn't quite work out with the guy that I had just met in Providence, Rhode Island the week before.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he came and stayed with me. I barely met him. He came and stayed with me the next weekend for Gay Pride New York, or excuse me, Pride. He kept correcting me too, and he's correct for correcting me. It's Pride. I kept saying Gay Pride. It's not Gay Pride. It's Pride. And we had a good time up until we didn't have a good time at the very end. We got into a disagreement, and he left me, which was fine, and went and got a hotel room. We've since mended it, and it's all good. We're a match. However, I salvaged my night and met this person that was on a business trip. Guess what business he works for?
Oh, is he in the business of you? Wait, what? Oh, I'm
sorry. He works for Wet Lubrication.
Gosh, we need that sponsor.
He, after we had fun and used Wet in many different ways, and I inspected his body, he ended up giving me so many sample bottles of Wet. I've hit the jacket. It was like ding, 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 Wet. More. I have so many, and they're the type of bottle that you can put in your sock if you're at jockstrap night and need some lube. It's that kind of samples, and he handed me like tons of them. I felt like I hit the jackpot. Ding, 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 ding.
Where are mine?
I will share a few with you when you come over, when I see you after I do an inspection on your body. But Yeah. Okay.
I'm totally down for it because
I'm gonna hose you down. I will
Oh.
hose you down in the back alley.
Decontamination. I get it.
The good news, though, he said they might consider being a sponsor on Tag's podcast
I love
next cycle. Next, you know how
Next
they're
cycle.
always in cycles
Okay.
of they're
But we
allocated
need
so
to
much
test
funds.
the product first.
Okay, we get child. You've had wet before up your butt.
I forget. It's been so long. They, I got a bad memory, girl.
Blake says, "I hope they were silicone. It was a combo. I got because he does special events for wet, and he had a layover in New York City. And believe me, I got some personal lube as well as silicone lube. So yeah." James says, "Can someone examine me?" Hi, James, watching us live. We love it. Any more comments before I cue up our next topic, Kodi?
Do you want me to read some of the other ones about?
Yes, because I got to cue up this next topic.
Oh, fabulous. So everybody was saying that, Blake put in the comments, he put in quotation marks, visit. And I said, I know, right? Visit in quotation marks. And Blake said, I guess it was a business trip. And I said, a blowjob is still a job, right? And Khalidad says, I'm sure they were taking care of business, wink. And then, I mean, that's the end.
You know what was crazy about this hookup that I met that I'm talking about was that he actually said we know each other from the 90s in San Francisco. I didn't remember him, but he remembered me. And I said, was I nice to you? And he said, no, you were really nice.
We have to
ask. He said, oh, I know. I was like, oh my God. But the way I remember you from San Francisco. I'm so sorry. I don't really remember you. I mean, we're talking like early 90s.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, I don't remember you, but
I remember last week.
I said, was I at least nice? And he said, no, you were great. You were always great. And so I was like, okay, good. And am I great right now? I was good. Hey. Anyways, we have got to talk about Ricky Martin.
Girl.
I've been waiting to talk about this story all week. I've been almost canceled 4th of July to talk about this story. There is apparently a restraining order filed against Ricky Martin under domestic violence law after the singer reportedly splits with, get this, his nephew.
Wait, what?
His nephew.
Oh my goodness.
So Ricky Martin is denying allegations that were part of the restraining oral order filed against him.
One thing on your mind.
I do. In Puerto Rico, reps for Martin issued this below statement to People. The allegations against Ricky Martin that led to a protection order are completely false and fabricated. Reps for Martin told People, we are very confident that when the true facts come out in this matter, our client, Ricky Martin, will be fully vindicated. So the original story first states that a $3 million lawsuit posted about a few days ago and now a restraining order. So there was a $3 million lawsuit for his manager, separate from what we're talking about, a lawsuit against Ricky Martin. And then now restraining order separate. They write, it's not a good week for Ricky Martin. Someone who was apparently in a relationship with Martin in Puerto Rico has filed a restraining order against him, and the order was filed under Puerto Rico's domestic violence law. That means that someone really is threatening you when you put that. Martin has allegedly been loitering around the victim's home since the breakup, and Martin has reportedly been unable to accept the split. The Associated Press has reported a judge has issued a restraining order against Puerto Rican superstar Ricky Martin, police said Saturday. And the order was signed Friday, and authorities visited an upscale neighborhood in the north coastal town of Dorado, where the singer lives, to try to serve the order. Police spokesman Axel Valencia told Associated Press. Valencia said he could not provide further details because the order was filed under Puerto Rico's domestic violence law. And so to make matters worse, the person with whom Martin was in a relationship with was his nephew.
What?
Ricky Martin and his 20-year-old nephew allegedly were said to
Yes.
have been in a consensual relationship. According to Noticiel PR, appears to have obtained a copy of the restraining order. So there really is a restraining order from this 20-year-old. That's not a lie.
Yeah.
Whether or not we can make up all the facts, but let's get into this, Kodi.
Okay.
What were your
There's
thoughts?
some things to unpack here.
Let's
Starting
unpack
with
it.
the nephew. What in the world? I didn't even know. And I looked it up, and it's actually it's his sister's son. So it's his actual nephew. It's not his pretend nephew. It's not his, play nephew or anything like that.
Or sometimes, or step. Sometimes people talk about step. Your parents remarried, and it's really, yes, it's your cousin, but it's like your step cousin. And oftentimes it's your secondary cousin. It's not like immediate. You're saying is like an immediate cousin within his family blood.
As far as I know, it's his sister's son, which is
I need some more wine for
this.
this.
As far as I know, and again, I don't know this man. I'm sorry to this man. I don't know him personally, but as far as I know, it is his. I didn't even know he had a sister, and it's his sister's son that he was.
But here's something we did know, Kodi. He has a husband and kids of his own. So can we talk about that? Now, I'm all for, we never know what people's relationship status is. Well, I see you reading the comments, Kodi, because people have a lot to say. I know that we can never get in the bedroom. We were talking about Neil Patrick Harris, and he was very open about his relationship with his boyfriend, and they're not dead, and they see people on the street, and they flirt, but essentially they're in a monogamous relationship, and so on and so forth. He offered that information. Ricky Martin hasn't offered that kind of information about his relationship. We don't know that they might have an open relationship, and that
you don't know.
But we probably know that it's not. We probably can guess that it might not be okay to be dating your nephew.
I'm judging that part. If it's true, what is going on in the world?
Well, but what about these porn movies that we see that twins are having sex and they're brothers and all that? How do you feel about? I don't like all that crap. But
so there was a point in time, and I feel like we've had this discussion before, so you know what my answer is going to be, and you just called me out on this shit.
Because I kind of had an idea of where you were on the fence with this.
So back in the day, before I kind of unpacked it for myself, I thought it was really hot because I personally had a fantasy to where I thought it was very hot for me to have sex with twins.
Because you said last week that you always want to be the guest star.
I always would. Well,
so
I don't
you
know.
Really want to be an Oreo.
The main event.
It's a true Oreo cookie with you in the middle.
Well, who says they would be white? They could be of any color. So as long as they're twins, that's the only defining factor.
Double chocolate stuff.
I would be double stuffed for sure.
W stuff is always the best.
But I have grown, and I have, like, a lot of my thoughts have come, and I've actually really thought about, what if it was my own brother? I would be like, that's not okay. That's not something that I would ever want to do. So I have outgrown that fantasy.
Let's unpack what we do know. There is a restraining order according to what we're reading. Yes. Do you agree with that?
Yes. That's factual.
Yeah. And do you think that he just got consumed and thought it's because this nephew is in this private and let's keep it? I don't know. I don't know what to think, but
me either. I just don't even know. I don't even know if this is real, but something tells me
I think it's real
to allow my judgment for this for further down the road when more information comes out. Because if anything, last year or the year when Jussie Smollett got in all of that hullabaloo, I'm going to be using that word a lot tonight. All got into his hullabaloo that anything can happen, especially with celebrities, and you never know what is really going on in people's lives. So I'm going to err on the side of safety and say, I'm going to wait and see how this all turns out before I make my judgment. I don't know if it's true or not, but we shall see. Hopefully the truth will come out, because the truth always comes to light, right?
Let's just really quickly unpack before we read some comments what we
Okay.
really think about a gay man getting with his nephew, because I think the reason that why we don't like incest, obviously for obvious reasons,
Yes.
and intermarriage between families is because procreation and all the issues that we know that can happen with just mental illness and everything. I mean, we don't need to tell you that. What do we feel about there is no procreation happening between a nephew and his uncle, but is it the mental side of it all? Like you mentioned, his sister, and just too close for comfort and societal that we're up in arms about? Because it's not like if this story is, I'm breaking it down nitty gritty here.
Yeah.
It's not like they said the kid was 18 or excuse me, under 18. Yeah, sorry, I meant under 18.
Okay.
It's not like they said that. We also, like I said before, Ricky Martin might be in a marriage with kids, but he might be open to be able to do what he wants. He might be in an open marriage and he's free. What do we really think about two men, uncle, nephew, getting together when there is no procreation? Are we just stuck in societal mentality?
So for me personally, it's about that you raised this child and there's so much that you put into, oh my God, I'm trying to avoid certain analogies.
Say it. Just say it.
There's so much of yourself that you have put into this child. Oh my God. But not sexually, like actually raising the child and having.
Oh, are you talking about the responsibility that an uncle has to a nephew?
Exactly.
And how we look up to our aunts.
Grow up.
And how we look up to our aunts and uncles.
Yeah, I look at my own nephew and I say, I could never, because I basically raised him. So I think
But what if your nephew looked like a younger Ricky Martin?
No, I could never.
I know.
He's very cute.
I don't think
he looks like me, so he has to be very cute.
Okay, girl. We had to throw that in.
I could never look at him in that way. He's still a baby to me. So it's the disconnect as far as that's concerned about how could he separate having raised this child and actually look at that person as a sexual human being. I can't look at my mom, my sister, my nephew, any of them. I can't look at them as sexual human beings. They're all next to me.
I recognize I want my family to have sexual lives. I just don't need to imagine it in my head, but I don't want to deny it. The other thing is I totally agree with you. We look up to our aunts and uncles, and I'm not an uncle, but if I did, I would want to be a role model at best.
Yeah.
To layer into this, he is a father, a real dad, and would he want the same situation to happen to his children?
Right.
He's really looking out. He has children right now. And you know, when they say when you become a parent, all bets are off. You are now, oh no, you turn into your parents on how they raised you. And it's just shocking to me. On top of that, more icing on this juicy story is he is a celebrity, and celebrities shouldn't really be doing any of this. So
they are held to a different standard. I don't know if it's higher. I don't know if it's lower. It's just different. And I think
they just know that they're going to be talked about it on this show and other shows like ours.
And their lives are open books, basically. So
how is everyone weighing in on this before I find our next topic?
They have so much to say. Blake says maybe Ricky's husband was involved with the nephew too, and they are still carrying on, but the nephew isn't into Ricky anymore. And I was like flabbergasted when I read that. My face my whole jaw dropped to the floor. I don't know.
I mean, if you were 20, we can't imagine not being into Ricky anymore because we're just like, it's Ricky. But he's a 20-year-old, probably looks just like Ricky when he was younger and probably has pick after pick. And he's like, no, I'm putting a stop to this.
And Llewellyn says, we have to acknowledge that there is a power dynamic between a nephew and an uncle. And to him, it's an abuse of power. And he put it perfect. They put it perfectly.
Actually, those perfect statements. Yeah, absolutely.
So I agree 100%. He said it so much better than I did, or I could. And when I said that you put so much of yourself into your nephew or child, I was like, I can't say that out loud, but you made me. Thank you so much for doing it.
Well, Bad Bunny, to moving on here.
Okay.
Hey Gavers,
it's Sean
and Bree,
and we are the hosts of I Can Explain podcast,
a podcast where we answer the questions you are too afraid to ask about being LGBTQ+.
From queer dating
to LGBTQ+ sex
to coming out and everything in between.
This lesbian
and this gay
have got you covered with our queer experiences.
Subscribe to I Can Explain podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
That's I Can Explain podcast. See you around the neighborhood.
We were going to talk about this. Bad Bunny showed off a throbbing bulge on an Instagram recent live, and it was rock hard. We've seen celebrities do some wild stuff on IG Live, including, not limited to, TikTokers flashing their dick, Bear Grylls accidentally doing the same, and Aaron Carter's dick slip. This is according to Cock and Cocktails. Now rapper Bad Bunny is grabbing his hard on for his fans to see. And if that doesn't sell his tour out, they write, then we're not sure what kind of PR would move. We're not sure why they write he was aroused on IG Live, but he did stand up and flash it. I was so fooled by this and thought, I cannot believe this, until you pointed out that wasn't real.
Yeah.
What was it about it when I put this in our live viewing audience? I'll post this on tags. Oh, you did. Thank you. Yeah. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com, you guys. How did you know immediately it wasn't a real? Because it was in his pants. He was in an IG Live. He stands up and shows and it's like right up, coming up to his abdomen, and I'm here for that.
I'm sure you are, but it was a placement of it. It looks like it started in his sternum and came all the way down.
Was it a prosthetic?
I was like, what is this? It doesn't even look like it's in the right place. This is totally fake. And I read some of the comments and they were like, that's not real. It looks like a microphone. It was just him having fun. And I think that, if anything, it'll boost his career, because people will be like, Bad Bunny has such a huge penis. Oh my goodness. And I don't know, maybe there's something in the water. They're making up stories down there. Allegedly.
In Puerto Rico.
So yeah. What do you think?
I agree. Thank you for pointing it out. I looked a little bit deeper at it, and it looks a little fake, and it looks like he was having fun. And I do appreciate that. I wonder on TikTok, because it is, I think if you were younger, you probably wouldn't get it and maybe not notice it perhaps, but it's putting out a big throbbing cock inside of a pair of pants, and I don't know. I'm here for it. And I think he has a sense of humor. Yeah. And it's not like he flashed the real thing or even a prosthetic thing. So I think it's all fine.
Blake just said Bad Bunny later pulled out a bottle under his shorts, revealing that he was making a joke in order to play with his followers.
Got it.
There you have it.
Leave it to our listener, our wonderful viewing audience.
Thank you, Blake.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And the dick inspector, because I know where a dick is, and I know that is not the correct.
I just see a big package and I go, whew, I lose it.
You get gaga.
Oh yeah, I don't care where it's placed. I'm just, if it's in the right hemisphere, I'm happy. Well, in other news, out comedian Joe Lysette hosted a big pride party on Channel 4 last weekend. And one
Oh,
standout moment saw a drag queen that goes by the name of Fat Butcher sniffing
it's a
poppers
great
in the
name.
audience. Yeah, great name. Twitter branded the move nothing short of iconic, with one viewer tweeting, "Sniffing poppers live on national television. This has to be a first." Probably, although uh, we've seen other things happen on live TV. There was a pride parade in Florida where I was telling you that a promoter on a pride float is seen, and Straight Up Gay Porn showed it, of
Uh-huh.
sniffing a white substance.
Oh
So you do the
my.
math on that. On a pride float. What, Cody, do you think of this drag queen sniffing poppers on live national TV? Is it as bad as sniffing the white substance on a pride float?
I don't think it's as bad as that. My main question is what and why? Like, why would you do this? Why are you giving away all of our secrets? What does this do for you on live television? And why didn't they edit out in the 5 second delay? Like, that, all of those are running through my mind with this. I don't understand it. I just think that it's ridiculous that this is something that we have to even talk about. Well, I don't think it's ridiculous, but I think that it shouldn't be such a big deal because poppers are legal. So what the heck?
You mean
If they're
vacuum? You mean vacuum cleaner? Which, by the way, I love when people ask.
nail polish remover, VHS tape cleaner.
Yeah, what are people thinking they're asking when they ask those things? I was at the Eagle recently in New York City, and in this little boutique of an elevator, because it's really an elevator, that they sell leather goods. They used to sell poppers, but people still come in and ask for them, even though they don't sell them anymore. And they'll ask for, "Do you have any shoe shine cleaner or
What?
vacuum cleaner?" All these weird things. Like, what? First of all, what is even a vacuum cleaner solution look like? And
what is in poppers can do all these things?
I don't know, but for whatever reason, people have to come up with these pseudo names to call these things. The kids, though, as we're calling them, Cody, you
the
and
kids,
the
honey,
kids
yes.
these days are using poppers left and right. I was in, again, Providence, Rhode Island for Pride recently, and the kids at a 5 o'clock Pride party were pulling out the poppers. "Do you want to do some poppers? Do you want to do some poppers?" And I was like, "I want my cocktail." And first,
can I speak to the bartender first?
yeah,
We do this?
and can we correct this cocktail, which you guys haven't perfected, by the way, before we get to the poppers? And where's the big dick, by the way? Where's Big Bunny when you need him? Because if I'm gonna Bad Bunny, Big Bunny.
Where's Big Bird and Big Bunny and Bad Bunny?
Where's Bad Bunny when you need him with that prosthetic? Exactly. And so but the kids are doing them left and right on the dance floor, daytime.
You told me.
I tried it. I think I did a little bit too much. I was spinning, Cody. I was spinning at 5 o'clock at a cocktail party. I was spinning.
PM or AM?
PM.
What?
And I don't want to be spinning unless I'm sitting on Bad Bunny's prosthetic.
Not the Easter Bunny girl. Oh my god.
That one, yes. That's when I want to be spinning on it, like a table, like a spinning top. But other than
getting
that,
all the eggs, I bet.
Yeah. What do you think about the kids doing poppers left and right at the grocery store? At Trader Joe's, I'm convinced they're doing poppers. It is now come to that.
It could never be me because the poppers, they give me a headache afterwards, and then I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody, especially on the dance floor when I'm getting a cocktail, when I'm trying to pick out a zucchini. No, I don't want to see that. I'm okay.
I don't want to see that, Valerie Cherish.
Got it.
Okay.
Love her.
Love Valerie Chairs forever. Dad says, I'm spinning with my hands up. Beyonce.
Oh, yes,
He also said
Beyonce.
cassette head cleaner. Yeah, right. Who's cleaning the people better not be ordering cassette head cleaner in 2022.
That's what I typed into my Google search engine.
Oh, okay. Vacuum cleaner. Yes, I've heard all these things. It's just off. I don't get it. Yeah.
Blake also says poppers will make you want a bigger zucchini, and you're right. It will open me up.
Yeah,
to bigger zucchini.
I am here for it in the middle of sex, and I want to continue once in a while to have poppers during sex. I think it can be a lot of fun. I don't know that I'm really here for it just for shits and giggles at a cocktail party at 5:00 in the afternoon. Are you like that?
No,
I mean,
but
I'm here for the kid. Do what you want.
Like I said before, I've said they have changed the chemical makeup of poppers so much. They've outlawed so many things that they're no longer the same as they were when I first tried them. Now the chemical makeup of them, they don't really do a lot. It doesn't really do a lot for me. Before, it used to give me a head rush, and I used to feel like I ruled the world. And now it just kind of makes me a little limp, and I'm not okay with that. So I need to
rule the world. Back to Beyonce. Well, we have to move on. P Valley writer.
Pine Valley. Come on,
all my children.
Erica Kane. Yeah.
I seriously thought when this next story, P Valley was Pine Valley. It's P Valley writer claps back at weird homophobic criticism about the show's latest gay sex scene. That's right. P Valley writer who I've interviewed, Patrick Ian Polk.
I love him.
You may know him from Noah's Ark, is whisking off the haters. And in a most recent episode of P Valley season 2, the character of Little Murder reconnected with an old friend who had just gotten out of prison, Big Teak. During the scene, Murda and Teak. I love you saying these names, by the way. How do you say them?
I mean, you're saying it right, but Lil Murda and Big Teak.
I can't with this. Murda and Teak.
I was like, is that right? I don't know. But I love it. I'm here for it.
Okay. During this scene, Murda and Teak, who wasn't directly perceived as being interested in having sex with other men, went on to have sex with each other. And shockingly, viewers of the LGBTQ inclusive show about a non-binary person owning a strip club were baffled by the sight of gay sex on premium cable TV. Okay, it's stars, y'all.
Come on now.
Comedian Lil Duval wrote on Twitter, yeah, P Valley lost me. They need a super gay advisory on movies like they got for everything else, because that's a lot to see if you're not used to it. Polk then responded, the writer, Patrick Ian Polk responded, as a writer and producer of P Valley, specifically a writer of this episode, I encourage you to step away from Chucalissa. What does that mean, Kodi?
It's Chucalissa.
What does that mean?
It's a town in Mississippi. I think it's fictional.
Chucalissa. Okay.
Yeah.
So as a writer and producer of P Valley, specifically a writer,
I watched the show so much.
Yeah, I want to hear what your thoughts in a second. I encourage you to step away from Chucalissa. This show is not for you. Go watch something else, because the gay ain't going nowhere. Kodi, you watch this show, P Valley. Why do you love it? What was this scene about? And why are people up in arms? Go.
So I love this show. I love Patrick Ian Polk so much, and I think Chucalissa, a major southern city, stands for his fictional town of so it's a fictional. Yeah. Yes, it's a fictional town. I think the representation of this world and any and everybody is there, and the storyline just engrosses you. It's such a slice of life of being southern, black, poor, what have you, all of these things, and it's so
non-binary.
Amazing. Yes. Oh my
gay.
gosh. Yes. And dealing with being on the down low, all of these things, it represents
the prison
so
system.
represents so many different types of people, and I love the show, and I can't speak more highly of it. And this episode in particular was so shocking and surprising to me because the setup for it is Lil Murder and Uncle Clifford.
You say it so well.
I'm from the South, okay? That's another reason I love this show.
Yeah. Where
Lil
are you
Murder,
from? West Virginia?
Oh, girl.
I should not have even said it.
I used to live in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yes.
And Hampton, Virginia. My whole father's side of the family is from
Right.
there. And I love the South. I can't get enough of it. And this just takes me back home every now and then. So every Sunday it takes me back home. So yes, Lil Murder and Uncle Clifford, who is the proprietor of the P-Valley Strip Club, they have been romantically involved for the first season already. So that hasn't been an issue for straight men. Again, I'm using air quotes.
Thank you very much.
As far as season 1 was concerned, because it was a masculine presenting man and a very, very feminine presenting man. I think Uncle Clifford might even identify as non-binary or even transgender. So that is not a problem for straight men that watch this show. When the problem came about when Lil Murder and Big Teak, who was recently released from the prison system,
his cellmate.
Yes, his cellmate, and they were really close. All it had been led up to, it was that they were really close when they were incarcerated. So when they had their sex scene, it was 2 masculine Black men having sex. And I think that is what really, really shocked people, because that type of love, that type of affection, that type of sex hasn't been portrayed in the mainstream media. I don't know if I can ever recall a time where that has been portrayed. What the populace in general is used to seeing is 2 effeminate men, 1 masculine, 1 effeminate, but never 2 masculine Black men having sex. So it's an underrepresented. I don't even know if I said that right. I had a couple of drinks, y'all.
Let me ask you a question, Kodi. I know you're saying it's an underrepresented grouping of men having sex with men.
Love. Yes.
Or love showing love. Let me ask you this question, because as you were talking, it got me thinking, did the storyline follow this ultimate encounter that you witnessed? In other words, it sounds like what you're saying is, it did earlier episodes show those 2 close, and that it was believable, I guess is the word, that they would end up in this thing. So if it was believable to you, then I'm here for the drama. I get often caught up in the production and a storyline. Then I get to my race and all the things that I'm really proud of and I live for culturally to be represented. But was it believable? First and foremost,
100%.
For these two characters, then I am here for it. That I always go for believability first and foremost before I get to my cultural and all my acronyms and everything that I live for secondary. But was it believable? Then I'm here for it.
At first, it just portrayed them as 2 people that were very close, or like brothers. But then they started to layer in things where jealousy was involved, and where I feel like the sex scene kind of came out of it didn't come out of nowhere, because I think that they set it up in a way to where it was a shock, but it was a shock that you kind of saw coming. Does that make sense?
It does. Yes. And that's believability.
Yeah.
But a twist and a turn in a dramatic show.
Because in my mind, I was like, and even in the most recent episode, because girl, I'm caught up.
You're getting me excited to watch the show.
I'm caught up. And in the most recent episode, the 2 of the other characters that are in the show, they think, oh my God, are these 2 guys having sex? because they know Lil Murder is enamored or in love with Uncle Clifford.
Oh, so it's a true triangle and questioning the true nature of where is this headed, because we know Lil Murder has feelings for
another man.
Yes. Okay, and then lastly, what do we think that this is saying for the community of the Black culture in general? Because do you think this will help? Because, and I ask you because you watch the show and because you are of
a Black person.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that this will move the conversation forward. I love that this is something that they have actually brought to the forefront, and that now people are having to kind of come to terms with. I think
or deal with.
Exactly.
We deal with so much other big boobs and blondes and Barbie and Ken.
And there's plenty of that in this. Okay.
Okay, good. But heaven forbid we have two masculine brothers getting it on.
Two Black gay men that are masculine, more masculine. They're like, and everybody's losing their mind. Little Duval needs to just mind his own business, and like Patrick Ian Polk said, go watch something else, because this is not for you.
And you know what brings up to mind is Jeremy Ross Lopez, our co-host, the other day says, when we were talking about bros and white gay folk, and I asked the question to Jeremy, do you think that America will be ready for Bros, which is going to be a Hollywood produced gay rom-com? And he says, I don't really care if they are.
Exactly.
And if they're not ready for it, then they should skip it, or they should sit there and shut up. And I think that's exactly what Patrick Ian Polk is saying too. Either skip it. It's on the Star. By the way, he said it was on a cable network. It's on Stars. It's on a streaming platform. So people are paying to the platform of Stars. And so, sorry, but we need these stories to be told. They are real life stories. Sorry if it makes you uncomfortable. That's what art does. True art makes you uncomfortable. Why does it make you uncomfortable? It's because we don't see it enough in culture, and it's because it's underrepresented. So there is a need to see more of true art form, and it sounds like it's done artistically and represents a community of people that really does exist. So I never knew I wanted
to be a stripper. That's how beautiful it is.
I could give you some tips.
I'm gonna actually pole dance. I'm love the go-go aspect of it, but I do actually want to learn how to pole dance because of this show. It's so beautiful.
Let's take class, because my ankle's back. And can we take class together and we'll report back?
I'm ready.
Okay. Summer.
It takes a lot of upper body strength.
Honey, I got that. I'm not using air quotes. I'm doing chest pumps, audience listeners. Okay, what are people saying before we move on to this topic that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, yes. So Callie Dad says, I laugh at these straight men who can't take seriously. Some of them may be triggered by past trauma. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he's speaking the truth, I think.
He totally is. And the setup for P-Valley M2M led us there. And the deeper y'all go into the story, the better Steve gets at saying Little Murder. So good job, boo.
I'm clapping.
And Llewellyn says, child, we all know those hyper masculine men are the first ones to bend over. Oh my goodness. I wasn't going to say anything like that.
Hey, that's what the people are saying. Okay.
People say.
Yeah. All right. We got it, Kodi. All right. That's it, right, Kodi? Because we got to move on to this. Okay. I'm going to watch P-Valley. I can't wait on the Stars Network. Thank you, Kodi.
Totally get a character named Erica Kane. They should totally.
Yes. No, it should be E.Kane. E. Kane. Okay. Moving on to a recent Reddit thread. I steal all of my Tricks underwear. Am I a freak? They asked the question. They asked the question, I've been embarrassed to tell anyone about this, but I'm pretty sure I have a fetish. Whenever a guy comes over for a hookup, once the clothes hit the floor, I secretly hide his underwear in my bed. I grab it off the floor when he's in the bathroom or not looking and stuff it under the bottom fitted sheets against my mattress. When he gets dressed later, I feign utter confusion about where his underwear might have gone when he tells me he can't find it and pretend to help him look all over the room. Ultimately, he leaves without it and chalks it up to one of those weird unsolved mysteries. I've done this at least a dozen times with different guys when I'm hosting. I try to stuff the latest conquest underwear in my pocket on the way out the door. The reason I do this is because I find it such a turn on to collect them. They usually have a slight scent of a worn man musk, and I find nothing hotter than a guy in his tight briefs or jockstrap. I now have a huge collection of these. Am I a freak? Calvin Kling. Well, honey, we could talk about this for days. We should have just started the show off with this. I want to tell you right off the bat.
Go.
I am wearing a pair of a Trix underwear as we speak, doing this show on episode 300. But I did not steal them. Like many of my Trix that have stayed over throughout the last several years, they were lazy and lost them in the bundle of sheets, and we couldn't find them, and they ran out the door. I am not kidding you, Kodi. You better not turn your head over. Off. No, I kid you not. I packed in my luggage a pair of Trix, and they're cute underwear. They fit me. They're Calvin Klein's, and I washed them. I didn't smell them, but I've had so many Trix leave their underwear, and I don't know what they were thinking, because whenever I've spent the night over someone's house and I couldn't find my underwear, I'm looking over everywhere. These are Trix that didn't even bother to look. In other words, they didn't ask me, hey, you, because of course they didn't remember my name. Hey, you, I can't find my underwear. No, they put on their pants without and later cleaning up the hoardery mess. I find, what's that? Well, this is a pair of their underwear, but it's cute underwear, and I don't have their phone number. I wash it, and it goes into my bin. I have a whole collection. I am currently wearing a pair, but it's not for the same reasons. I did not steal them. So I rest my case, Your Honor.
I don't know if I believe you 100%, like the Ricky Martin case.
Can I tell you one more story? One more story, and then I want to hear from you.
Go ahead.
I have had a foot fetish for years, and it's subsided more recently. I'm more into other stuff. But during a heightened period of my foot fetish, I asked dancers and bartenders if I could purchase their socks. Actually, some of them actually for $20 gave me their dirty socks. Bartenders on duty.
Now I'm really looking up. No.
And I was into the scent of it all. And I have their socks too. But yeah, I'm not even kidding you. I'm not really into that right now. But it satisfied a desire at the time and probably put to bed a long foot fetish thing that I had. And I got off on it, but I told them and I paid for them. So I guess the question on this Reddit thread is it okay to steal without the person knowing? You heard my stories, but everything was copacetic and agreed upon. What are your thoughts,
Allegedly.
Kodi? He may or may not be using air quotes.
I think that you probably told them that the price of entrance into your bedroom was a pair of underwear, and that's why they left them. And you just
I am not kidding you. I am not kidding you that I'm wearing a pair of Trix
No,
underwear.
I believe you. But you told them when they came in. You had to leave your underwear.
Because I don't have an underwear fetish. But
I totally do.
But I need more underwear. You know, you can never have enough underwear. And underwear.
That's true.
So I'm like, hey, I've got a whole extra stash now.
So I have an underwear fetish. I have so many pairs of underwear that I have purchased.
Allegedly, and I'm using air quotes on it.
But there was a point in time when I was young and in high school and living in Virginia in an apartment complex, and you would go to wash
P Valley.
and P Valley, and you would go to the laundromat that was on site at the apartment complex. And a young Kodi may or may not have stolen a pair of underwear that a man had worn. May or may not. I can't recall 100%, but I did it. I stole underwear from the laundromat because I have a fetish, and now that I can actually purchase the underwear, or I could even go online and purchase used underwear.
You could, yeah, and probably spend a lot.
I think that's what this person needs to do, because we actually need to address the question too.
Yeah, let's address the question. I think it's okay to have these fetishes. I'm going to just state my opinion, and then you state yours, and then we'll read some comments, and we got to wrap this show up.
Yes.
But I think that it's not okay to steal. It is, as somebody wrote, it is okay. Kelly Dad says stealing undies is a fetish and a misdemeanor at the same time. Yeah, I think the times I've been into underwear and I've smelled I've done it and left it there. I think that's fun, to steal that moment that you feel you got a whiff of somebody, and that's okay. I've purchased socks and they've left their underwear in my, I'm serious, they have. And I acquired it, but I actually didn't smell it. I just was, because I'm not into the underwear, I just washed it and acquired a new pair of underwear.
Okay, I believe you. Sure.
Child, you better.
I do think that this person needs a little murder.
Little murder. Did I say it right?
Yes, you're close. You're getting so much better. Okay. I agree with Blake. I do think that there's other ways that he can, make sure that his fetish is really he can do it without stealing. You can purchase. You know what? I have so much underwear. I will send him underwear if he pays me. Just let me know, and I'm a very reasonably priced bitch. Okay,
that's good advice, and I agree with that, Kodi, because chances are, and this is where you're going to believe me now. Chances are, if you tell somebody your fetish, like I told these bartenders a couple times about the socks issue, and they were like, yeah, give me $20. And they, on duty, went into the back room, took off their socks, put on their shoes without socks, and worked the rest of their shift, but gave me their socks. Yeah. Well, I don't care what they do after they give me the song.
You got what you needed, right?
I guess my point, and I do have a point, is if you are just honest and you get over the fact that people are going to judge you, and you just tell people, hey, this is my fetish, they're at the best, they're going to say, no, I'm not into that. But 9 times out of 10, they might be like, yeah, what do I care? Here, have it. Have at it. Have your fantasy.
Give me my $20.
Or give me my $20, and you could do that too. But stop stealing underwears, Reddit thread listener.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're going to piss somebody off, and it's not cute. And
and underwear is expensive.
Thank you very much. Well, this has been anything you want to read really quickly before we salute everyone goodbye?
Blake says, find someone who's into it and they can trade. We're not going to do Thirst Trap?
Okay, do it really quick. Yes.
Really quick.
Put it in the mix.
Okay, I'll put it in the mix.
As we love to do.
This is my favorite.
Okay. We love straight up gay porn. And the reason why we love them is because Zach, out of Straight Up Gay Porn, posts every week porn stars. This week it's 19 gay porn stars. And he asked the question, who took the best photo or video? And our job is to vividly describe in an audio podcast why we chose the one that we picked. And Kodi, who did you pick this week?
My vote goes to the lovely Luke Trong. I did ask my boyfriend
who I met.
Yes, that is not why
we're trying to get him on the show.
That is not why I picked him. The video is amazing, and he just bought a fuck machine, an automated fuck machine, and he decided to share it with everyone. So I think he's a superhero. Not all superhero wears capes. Some of them wear fuck machines, and he says that you can have fun and have a dick fuck you anywhere and where anywhere you want and however you want, and he really proved that with this fuck machine. I just love saying fuck. He's getting fucked on the floor. He's getting fucked on somebody's couch. He's getting fucked while texting. It's amazing, and his ass looks beautiful. I did ask my boyfriend who he picked, and he picked, at first, we both picked the interracial couple there. That's Disco Dick and Elijah Wilde. you know, because they look like us, and he didn't want to hurt my feelings. But then he came back with his real true choice, which is Raheem Shabazz.
Of course.
Who do you pick?
I pick Johnson Poppy, who is midway through the mix, who's sitting on a backdrop of a bed. He has a very sexy body, just sexy beard, beautiful lips. I looked him up, beautiful dick, and he's lying there with his abs hard. Beautiful feet, by the way, which he's showing in the picture.
Oh, yes.
And he's really yummy. I just want to climb on top of him because I love and kiss him because he's really that hot to me. And he just kind of is one of those in the mix that maybe you overlooked, but he gets my vote for this week's pick.
Oh, no, I definitely saw him.
You like him too? Yeah, sexy,
yes,
right?
It's good.
Yeah, good pick. Anybody else before we head out?
So the kids are saying, Llewellyn
what are the kids
says,
saying?
Johnson Poppy for him too, and Sam Ledger from Daddy 234. Damn, that ass is amazing.
And to your pick, we are in contact with Luke Trong, and I hung out with him in Palm Springs, and he is going to hopefully do the show sometime soon. So bring your questions and ask him about that fuck machine.
I am. He better have it on hand for us.
I'll reach out to him, tell him that he was a pick for us, and hopefully that'll twist his arm to come on the show really soon. Yes. Okay, James says Johnson Poppy for me too. Okay, now I love it. Well, this has been so much fun. I am here in the Bay Area, so say hi if you're out and about. I'm going to the Bologna show at Oasis Friday night. Check it out. There's still some tickets. I would love to meet you. You can follow us at TAGSPodcast and reach out to us. Follow my co-host, Kodi Maurice Doggette. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching, or at Mr. Maurice. Kodi, so much fun as always.
Yes, my love, always.
Thanks, live virtual audience. Thanks for weighing in. This show gets repackaged and comes in your feed as an audio podcast. But go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TAGSPodcast to watch this video if you want to see all the air quotes and the accoutrement. You'll see it there. Thanks, y'all. So much fun. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Yes.